Hey guys, James here and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, this channel is all about sharing my lifelong love of cars with you guys. As a car guy who was a teenager in the early 2000s when BMW was making really good cars, it's no surprise that I really love small, sporty BMW coupes. I've personally owned an E36 M3 Coupe, an E46 330ci, and an E92 M3 with a 6-speed manual. When the F22 2 Series came out, I wanted to love it. I was so ready to like it, but I test drove the 4-cylinder and the 6-cylinder versions multiple times over the years, thinking maybe, just maybe I'll like it this time. But each time I drove it and I got out of the driver's seat, I just thought, nah, this isn't for me. This time, jumping into this G42 230i M Sport, things are different. It brings back some of that magical DNA that is such a crucial part of prior generation 3 Series coupes. So today, I want to share with you guys the best and some of the worst things about the G42 230i M Sport. Although it took me a little bit of time to understand the design of the 2 Series, I actually now really like the way that it melds together previous generations' design cues in a way that both pays tribute to those previous generations while staking out a personality of its own. Let's start with this super cool Thunder Night Metallic purple paint job. When it's on this 2 Series, Thunder Night Metallic reminds me of a slightly warmer version of Techno Violet from the E36 M3. And take a look at this hood bulge. I mean, it adds to the slightly more aggressive, more athletic look of the G42, and it's sort of carried from the E46 M3, the E9X M3, the F80 M3, and the F82 M4. This headlight shape looks inspired by the F80 and F82, but with a slightly more modern, slightly more futuristic feel to it. These taillights are very much inspired by the pre-LCI E90 3 Series sedan. By itself, I don't love this taillight design because it's kind of this amorphous blob, but I think it works within the context of the entire car, and the LED accent within it really helps give it some much needed character. Now let's hit the road and talk about the way this thing drives. When it comes to the G42 2 Series, the handling is absolutely the strong point of this car. This 2 Series is the best handling, most entertaining non-M BMW I have driven in a very, very long time. I forgot to mention I also had an E92 335i Coupe. This 230i reminds me of a better version of that. This chassis is so stiff and responsive, but it doesn't lose that aliveness that the E9X generation really had. On top of that, the whole thing is much more balanced. In stock form with stock alignment, the E92 335i tended towards moderate understeer. The 230i, this car, tends towards just light understeer at the limit. Given the staggered tire setup in this 230i, I think you could dial out that understeer pretty easily with slightly wider front tires or an alignment. The ride on this M Sport suspension does get a little bit busy, but it never, ever feels unsettled or unpredictable, even over really, really bad pavement. And that's what's important for a sporty coupe like this. So the chassis and handling really are the highlight of the G42 2 Series, and I think the brakes are a close second. For street driving, the brakes give you tons of stopping power, and they give you a lot of linear response and really good feel through the brake pedal. These brakes are at their best when you're driving moderately hard or hard. If you're trying to drive kind of smoothly and gently, then the brakes are a little bit grabby and it's a little bit hard to modulate, but anything starting from like brisk driving all the way up to I'm a maniac, these brakes will do a really, really good job on the street. The engine in this car is the tried and true turbo 4-cylinder that BMW puts in everything. And it pulls pretty well. I mean, it's not super charismatic at the top end, but anywhere from the low RPMs to the mid RPMs, this thing pulls really nicely. Oh, solid. Not dramatic, not scary. I never felt like the rear tires were gonna break traction, but feels really good. There is fake engine noise in this car, but fortunately BMW gives you the option to increase or decrease it. Another aspect that I love about the G42 is its size. Cars keep getting bigger and bigger with each generation, so now the 3 Series and the 4 Series are kind of huge, right? So it's really lovely that this 2 Series is actually right in between the size of the E46 Coupe and the E92 Coupe. In my book, that is the perfect size for a sporty BMW coupe. And the final thing that I love about this car is the build quality. This current generation of BMWs is, again, a return to form. Things feel solid. From the way that the door handles feel when you pull them, to the way that the door sounds when you close it, and the way that things feel in here, this cabin and the doors feel much more solid than the previous generation of BMWs did. So those are the things that I really love about this G42 2 Series, and are the reasons that I think these are the true successors to the E46 and E92 coupes. Now let's talk about the things that I don't love about this car, and there really aren't that many. Number one is the steering. Now, let me just start by saying that the steering is not bad, okay? But given how brilliant the rest of this driving experience is, this is the weakest link. The steering is a little vague on center, where when you're going straight, it kind of wanders a little bit, and you don't get that feedback. You don't get that information from the wheel. You just have to notice that your car is wandering a tiny bit to the right or to the left, and then you're like, oh, okay, I better correct that. So it requires a little bit more, thinking. It's a little less intuitive than some of the truly great hydraulic racks from BMW in the late 90s and early 2000s. And the final thing that I don't love about this car is the instrument cluster and the infotainment system. I just think there's too much going on in the instrument cluster and the infotainment screen, to the point where it's actually a little bit hard to use. And I know that some other reviewers have said that they really like BMW iDrive. I personally don't. I've driven these cars quite a lot now, with the modern, infotainment systems from BMW, and I still don't understand how to navigate the menus properly. The speedometer and the tachometer are very illegible, and then in the middle here we have this kind of cool looking map, that is like totally non-functional. And it tells you what road you're on, but it doesn't label anything else. Like, how useless is that? The VW Audi systems are also chock full of information, but everything is laid out in a way that's so easy to see. But that's pretty much it. The G42 2 Series is a truly great car, and I'm so glad that BMW has designed it the way that they did. This 230i M Sport really is the most enjoyable non-M BMW that I've driven in years. So if you're looking for a modern day car that captures the essence and is the true successor of the E46 and E92 coupes, this is it. This is the car that you're looking for. Thank you guys so much for joining me until the end of this video. I really appreciate it. If you liked this video, or if you found it helpful, if you could hit that little like button down below, that really helps out this growing channel that I've got going on here. And if you're not yet subscribed, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything that I have coming out. My name is James. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Oh dear. That, my friends, is a line for In-N-Out Burger that I do not want to do battle with. This is nuts.